Welcome to Talking Society with Ziti, Hose, and Jose. Let's get started.
Hi, y'all, and welcome to Talking Society. Somewhere over there. So I am Ziti, and I'm sure you all know. So with us we have Jose and Jos.
Jos and Jose.
Hello.
Jose.
Jose.
It's like consejos.
Jos.
Consejos.
Jose. We can be Jose. You don't think so?
Jose. R.I.P. to him.
Yeah, well, we're still living, so.
Yeah, and we don't smoke.
Oh, he smoked?
Yeah. That's how he lost his voice.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Such a great singer.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Marlboro took over.
Mal.
I don't know if that's what he smoked, but he did smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Thank you for joining us today. Another episode. So we always start off with like a fun fact. So today is if you were a loteria, which is like a bingo card.
Like this right here, actually.
Yeah, it's right there. Which card would you be, and why? Have you played loteria before, Jos?
No.
You haven't played Loteria?
I don't gamble. That's against the Lord.
It's like bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
with like cards, so they say like
Yeah.
La Palma. And if you have La Palma, you put a little bean on it. Or La Araña.
Okay.
But just looking
Yes,
at
I
this,
guess-
I guess which one would you be?
Yeah,
you know?
your only option is
They got the
these.
cello, they got the arp. El Soldado. Or you can be the king, Jos. Look.
I could be the king.
It's la corona. It's just
La
a crown.
corona.
No, it's not the king.
No.
Well, it has a cross for the king. Doesn't the king is the one that looks like this?
But that's the. Never mind.
I'd be the rosas, the roses.
La Rosa.
Yeah, because I smell nice. Sometimes I'm nice to look at. But if you try touching me, you get stabbed.
That's la maceta.
La
La
Maceta.
maceta. So the rose is called the maceta?
No,
La
it's,
Maceta is the pot.
Oh,
That's what it means.
but I think
Maceta.
there is a rose.
I just saw roses, so
La
I picked
Rosas,
that.
no?
If not, maybe el corazón.
You got the drummer, look at that.
El tambor.
La campana. El borracho.
El tambor con los palos.
La mano, you can be la mano or la muerte. They got la bota. El pino. They got that.
Yeah. Look, I don't know what any of these symbolize. I was going to pick rose, but you guys made it far more complicated.
I didn't, Jos. It was her. I'm on your side. I'm a good guy.
So thank you. I'll pick heart. El
The
corazón.
corazón?
Yeah.
Why el corazón?
I don't know. I feel like if I let you into my circle, you know it. And like you feel the love I have for you. So I think that's indicative of me as a person. It's like a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And not because I'm overweight, guys.
It's an enlarged heart. It's a disease.
I have a short time on this earth.
Jose, which one would you select?
I'm gonna pick a girl actually.
Okay.
You know what card I always liked when I was little? It was the lady in the canoe.
Oh, she's right there.
Oh, she is right here?
Yeah, she's right. Well, she's cut off, but
Oh, La Chalupa. That's her?
Oh, shout out to Taco Bell.
But it was a lady and I always liked getting that card. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because it was a boat, you know? It's like it was like different. You can see like a little boat.
like a doña.
It was just cool. She was hot. I wish she would row to my heart, you know?
Oh, well,
And said she was going to get away from you. Okay.
cool.
But what about you? Which card are you gonna pick?
Ooh, my favorite one has always been the estrella, the
Really?
star.
That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, because my name means star.
That's
Yeah?
the tattoo everybody gets on their knees or on their elbows. That's that
The
star.
star?
Yeah.
The straight edge one, yeah.
You've seen those? Yeah.
But I was like, I can't believe you haven't played Loteria. How's we're gonna have to play?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. It's like blackout bingo.
Okay. I'll play it.
So that's the only way you win, and then it's like you usually have to stick with your card.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll play.
Yeah. Okay, I'll bring one. I have like two
Nice.
unpacked.
They're fun. They have some big ones now, giant ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those look fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about it. It's like blackout, you know?
Okay.
It's not like so it can take a little bit longer. And I feel like it's less likely for two people to win, huh, in Loteria? Or how likely is it for two people to win?
Sometimes, like we usually do, like we don't do the blackout one. So if two people do win, then it's whoever gets it next.
All
And we
right.
play with quarters. Do you play with quarters?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play money.
Yeah. Money, and then the pot starts getting bigger and bigger. And we put beans on ours. Is that what you did too? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I have some habichuelas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll bring one next time.
Those are nicer beans.
Just a nicer name, not
Puerto
nicer.
Rican
yeah,
beans.
yeah.
Okay. So today's topic is superstitious and myths. Are y'all ready?
And myths?
Myths.
Yeah, myths.
Leyendas.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
My Spanglish coming out. So.
Myths.
So what myth or wise tales do you all believe in?
I can think of one really quick. I've told you this one. I was like, so my grandma would always say, like, you can't shower after you eat. Se te hace la boca chueca. So, like, if you would go, so we would, like, eat. In Mexico, you eat, like, supper. You know, so you eat pretty late, like your last meal. Your pan or stuff like that you can have, or you can have, like, a quick little, I don't know, they'll fix you something. And my grandma would always say that. It's like, oh, si te bañas, te torce la boca chueca. They were probably just trying to save on water.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it was the whole time. But yeah, that's what I always remember. That one and the other one too. It was always something to do with your mouth. It's like if you do the same thing, like if you eat and then you play right away,
Yeah.
then it would happen the same thing.
That's
like
what I was gonna
your
say.
mouth would get messed up and like bad things would happen.
Yeah. Did you believe in that one? Like, or
Yeah, because it's like they would tell to all your cousins or your whole family, and all of you guys are little kids. Like, who's gonna try? Nobody. I don't want to have a messed up mouth. You know, they already make fun of me enough. You know, all my cousins.
Yeah, I'd say there was 30 minutes after eating because you'd throw up, which some people say there's scientific evidence there is not. But I still kind of just abide by that.
Yeah.
Right? I won't hop in the ocean in the event I just ate or something like that. I won't do that. I had one in mind, but I forgot it already. Una de que it doesn't apply to me because I don't really have a purse. But if you put it on the ground, that's like bad financially for you. You'll have a bad financial year. So my mom never places it on the ground. It's always on a chair, on a table, or hangs it somewhere. So that's like something I'm always aware of or watching when people place it on the ground or something. It's just bad luck. So you don't put it on the ground.
Okay. Any other ones that you want to share?
Did you guys do like the same thing when like food drops and it's like ya la lambió el demonio or something like that?
El diablo?
Yeah, ya lambió el diablo.
Yeah. Or somebody
Or
falls.
los muertos or somebody that's dead.
Yeah.
Can this be my own superstition? Like not one
Yeah.
that's common?
Yeah.
So anytime I've ever had food, I'm not weird. You know how some people won't touch certain food? Oh, that's a gas station food. I won't touch it. I always risk it. I don't care. I just always end up following it up by drinking like Coke. And I always think that the Coke is going to kill whatever bacteria's in it. And I've never had foodborne illness if I've had Coke. I've had food poisoning, but I didn't have Coke. So if I have Coke, I've never had food poisoning. And there's definitely times where I'm like, if there's a time for me to have food poisoning, it would have been that time. But I drank a Coke. I woke up the next day just fine. Threat neutralized.
Salud. To that.
Dang, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's when I have. And I have another buddy who actually believes it too, and he said his experience is he never had foodborne illness if he's had Coke with a meal that was kind of questionable.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't have to have Coke with every meal, but if it's questionable and you want to avoid being sick, drink a can of Coke.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I my favorite number is 666. So I always like threes, you know? So I like to do a lot of things in threes. Or if I get something, let's say I need 4 things, I would get maybe the first 3 and then I'll wait later to get the other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'll order 3 things and I'll get the next one. So it just makes it look like I got a 3. It's weird. And I like how it looks too, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes in the kitchen, I'll just leave 3 chairs. You know, so I just like how it looks. It's like different, you know?
Yeah. So do you have like a favorite number?
666.
666.
Mine's 21.
21?
Because that was always assigned to me as you know how they would number you in elementary school based off your last name? I almost was always, 22 happened a couple times, so 22 I like a lot as well. But I was always 21 for years straight, so I ended up liking the number 21.
See, I like 8 and 10.
8 and 10?
But then I feel
8's a good
three
number,
and
too.
7 are like not good numbers for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do y'all have any like negative vibes on numbers?
I feel like 7 for me.
7.
It's just like I don't know. I just like
I've never thought of negative numbers like that. I think 21 looks cool. I like the number 10 is nice.
7 doesn't look that cool. Or do you think 7 looks cool?
Like the way it's drawn or like written.
Just like 7. It's not. I don't think it's that cool. I don't know. I've never found it cool.
I don't know. I've never thought about that too much.
Yeah.
No.
Like I like 11 looks cool.
Hmm.
You know, like that looks a cool number. I don't know why. 6 to me looks cool. 3, 4 is really cool. 4 is a really cool looking number. 5 too, but 7 it's just not.
Oh, I don't know if this is superstition or more a belief that I have is like if I go to bed without like being grateful, then I have like terrible dreams. So like sometimes I'll catch myself dozing off. I'm like, oh, let me do a quick like prayer of gratitude, and then I'll sleep nicer.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll have like some sort of dream that like, you know, when you have dreams and you know they're a dream, but now you feel uncomfortable the whole day.
Oh yeah.
Like whether it's spiritually, maybe you feel uncomfortable, even your mood is not very good. That happens to me, so I have to like do a prayer of gratitude before I go to bed.
Okay. Yeah.
I do something similar, but maybe I've talked about it here before. Maybe I told you, host, but I do one where if I'm not doing maybe too good, like at work or something like that, and then I like have to be like, okay, well, maybe it's because I haven't been thankful enough. So then I have to think about all the good things and then like be thankful, almost like close to like say a prayer, like, oh, I'm thankful for this and that. Sorry that I haven't been thankful about this. I appreciate you checking me, God. Thanks a lot. You know?
Yeah.
And then I feel like, because then that way I don't want to be upset about like, oh, well, this isn't going my way. Instead, it's just like, well, how can I, like, I don't know, just be thankful for all the things that have gone good. And then stay in that negative energy, you know? That helps me kind of like reel me back in. So I do that one a lot.
Okay.
That one is just like I have to be like super thankful for like a week. And then I'm like, okay. I can go back to not being as thankful.
What are myth or main beliefs that y'all don't believe in at all, like anymore?
The black cat being an omen, I don't believe that one. As a kid, I kind of did.
Yeah, I think
So-
almost everybody. You don't think so?
Yeah,
It was
like-
scary to see a black cat.
I'd see a black cat and I kind of avoid it, but I've interacted with plenty and I'm fine. So
Okay.
breaking a mirror, I never believed even as a kid.
Oh, dude, I think even that one even
Still
still
does?
kind of creeps me out a
Yeah.
little bit.
To be fair, I don't think I've broken any mirrors, but it doesn't. I don't think about it. It doesn't faze me. But I can see where people come from because you look at yourself in the mirror. So if you're breaking that, you're breaking almost your own
Yourself.
reflection of yourself. I guess I get it, but it doesn't. I don't.
oh, I
I
look
don't think
ugly.
anything of it. Yeah, I'm hideous.
I do one where, let's see, if once that you don't believe anymore, this one might be dumb, but it's like when it's, you know, when it starts to be like closer to Halloween or like winter, where it's like, oh, if people hit the headlights while you're driving, don't turn over or don't do it back because it's like a gang that's after you, and that means that you're like a rival gang and they'll follow you and they'll kill you, you know?
Yeah.
That or like they put blades in candies.
Razor blades.
Razor blades in the candies
Yeah,
for
yeah.
trick-or-treaters. You know? It's like that you do that, which, yeah, that one's kind of weird. So I would probably say those. And obviously, like the showering one, that's probably like, I don't care if I ate, like I'm going to shower. Especially if I grilled. Like if
Yeah.
I grilled and then I eat and I feel like my pores are all closed and gross, I'm going to shower. Like I can't wait to shower.
Okay.
But not swim. Swimming is scary.
Swimming is the devil's work.
Okay, I have a couple that I've found off the line that I didn't know of were like that people would say. One is like itchy palms. Do y'all know what that one is? So itchy palms in some areas say it's because you're gonna either be in the future have good fortune, or if depending which palm is itchy, one is like you're going to get money, and the other one, if it's the
you're
other
gonna
hand,
lose
you're gonna
money.
lose, or you're gonna give money to somehow to something else or someone else.
I have a question. So if you don't itch it, does that counter the thing or?
I'm not
You
an
know?
expert, but I
They'd be
want to
like, "Ah!"
believe. Yes.
You get somebody else to picture for you. Does it break the curse?
Give me a high five.
God.
Yeah, so that was one. I
Was
didn't
that,
know about that one.
does it say where that came from regionally? Like the U.S.,
Oh, no.
Europe, or anything? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
That's kind of a
I'll
cool
try to
one.
look up
Yeah,
more.
it's pretty cool. I like it.
I'm sure y'all, I don't know if y'all saw El Dorado. The
The-
Oh, the
movie.
Road to El Dorado?
Yeah. Did you all believe in that? Like,
Yeah.
there's a.
That there's a
like,
place that was
Yeah.
made out of gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so too, because there's like even the pyramid in Mexico. You know, they had to find it.
Oh,
You know,
the
it was, like,
Atlantis. I
overgrown.
still believe in Atlantis.
Same with Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's actually a city that was lost and actually ended up underwater. So that's a myth I still believe in.
Mermaids?
No, I don't believe in mermaids.
I don't know. You know what's cool? Octopuses. You don't know what it is. Some people say like it might be an alien. You know, some sort of alien thing because they're so smart. You know,
And they have weird characteristics that no other animals have.
and they dream. They even have dreams.
How do they?
I think a lot
know
of
that?
animals have dreams, but
I think they just monitor the brain
yeah,
activity.
they've
Sleep.
measured like they have videos of like an octopus that's having a dream, and you can see him like sleeping, and he's like
Yeah.
changing colors and stuff like that to adapt to whatever's
Oh.
happening in his dream. So maybe he's getting chased or anything, but he's even like all his colors are like changing and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
they learn stuff really fast. They like to watch TV, like stuff like that when they have them in captivity.
And they have the little beak that's pretty creepy but cool at the same time.
Yeah,
Have you
I
seen?
didn't know.
They have a beak. Like
I
it
have
actually
to.
crushes things.
like a little
It
perico.
can crush birds.
Yeah,
Oh.
Birds' bones.
I was like, okay.
Oh, I said
birds,
birds.
the seagulls, they fall in there sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to. Would you all see that Discovery Channel?
Oh,
Yeah, I grew up on
YouTube?
PBS.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have cable television.
but those were pretty cool. Like I don't know, animals are pretty cool.
Okay. What about Rainbow and Pop Gold?
Oh, that one was
That was
fun.
a super fun one.
That was
Yeah.
probably one of the most fun ones when you were a kid because your parents could just drive you around, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Dad, take me over there, you know?
Yeah.
And they could just take you on the longest drive.
And on a serious note too, like if you believe that and you knew you were poor, it was the hope of getting out of poverty, right? Like as sad as it sounds, it's kind of like just kind of cool.
You would tell your parents, "I voy a comprar una casa. I'm going to buy you this.
And all you're doing is making your parents even more depressed and sad that they're having a hard time providing for you.
They should be like, your parents should be like, and if we don't find it, you don't get Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We get bad fortune. Our palms are going to itch.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Chupacabra, which is like the
Yeah,
goat.
the goat sucker.
I did believe it a lot as a kid. I don't.
Yeah, that
believe
was
in it
so
now.
popular.
Yeah.
No, not no more.
No.
Okay, what about this one? Crows, remember? If you see a crow, it's like bad luck or somebody's going to die.
Crows creep me out to this day.
Any birds creep me out.
They-
So I believe
Or
that
when
one.
you run over a bird, it's bad, remember?
I've run over a duck before and I was fine.
Yeah, but that's not a bird. That's, you know.
I wonder
I'm
what it
talking about
is.
like a nice bird, you know? Like
A
it's just
duck
like,
is one of the nicest birds there
a
is.
dove. It's like, you know? You've seen ducks attack people. Those are not nice.
Ducks are great. And they're delicious.
Crows, I love crows now.
Yeah.
I used to be really scared of that one.
No, I like the
Because they
look
just
of
look
them,
so
but
ominous.
they still creep
You know,
me
they're
out.
just like black. They're just like. But now I just look at them like, man, if you see one up close, they're so beautiful. Like their coats are like really shiny and just like it's like a nice black color. It's really weird how to explain it. And the sun reflects really nice off of it, and like it has really pretty feathers. And they're one of the smartest birds too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they remember a lot of things, and they pass that information along. I don't know if it's through just how they talk, but they've done studies on crows, and they're, I think, the smartest of all the birds. And there's this bird where I take my dog to this baseball park to walk, and I let her free, like off the leash. I have it just in case there's other people and I can leash her up, but I let her roam on her own. She smells. And there's always this crow, and I would always throw like a bread or something at it, and it would eat it. So it knows I'm nice, but if my dog gets close, it knows my dog chases it. So it flies to a point where it knows my dog can't get to and just kind of taunts my dog every time.
Oh, really?
So they have good personalities. They hang out with each other, you know. So they're all different little birds.
We might have a session of animal.
Some bird walking.
They're like the orcas of the sky, like the killer whales.
Uh huh.
They're smart too, and they communicate. And crows are like that, but instead they're on land or in the air, I guess.
Have you seen the birds here that are like black and white, and they're like really loud?
They have like long tails,
Yeah,
long feathers. Yeah.
magpies. Those are what they're called. So those are very similar kind of to crows, but those guys are like a little bit more playful, a little bit more like hyenas, you know. But those guys are also really fun. They like have really funny personalities, and they're almost like scavengers. They'll try to eat anything, and they'll play fight with each other. If you watch them, like they like to play fight and stuff like that. And they're kind of like he's saying like they can also like mess with you. Like the other day, there was one in my backyard, and he was like kind of taunting Sonny a little bit, so he would kind of hop towards him. You know, then Sonny would like perk up a little bit, and then he would just like hop away from him. You know.
Oh.
So, but they know what they're doing, you know, and he's like eating like some stuff off the grass. But those are pretty fun. But crows used to be for me super. That might have been one of the creepiest ones for me too.
The crows.
It's like, oh, I don't want somebody to die. That's what I would always think. Or crows, somebody's gonna die. They would say that. Se va a morir Doña Luz, you know. They would say like, no, no quiero que se muera Doña Luz.
La luz se va de sus ojos.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my. No, I'm afraid of birds. But crows are. I think I was afraid of crows. Because of the scary movies. I think they would always appear in scary movies. But then I saw them in anime. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the
Itachi.
yeah. So like, no, they're cool.
It's a spell.
Yeah, I know. It's the guy that wears black. I know.
A lot of them do.
The Kraken. Do you know what the Kraken
Yeah,
is?
I believed in that.
Which one's that one?
It's the massive octopus squid monster.
Oh no, I never.
No.
As a kid, I did. Yeah.
I don't know much about this one. I think I only saw it in kids' movie just recently, but I didn't know about it.
The Kraken.
Yeah. What about La Llorona?
Yeah.
No, that one. No,
No.
not for me.
That was very big in Mexico. She murdered her kids.
That story existed in Puerto Rico too, but I
the
just
river.
maybe it's because my parents never really cared for that story, so it wasn't like prevalent
for
for
me. It was scary because in Mexico City, you would hear stuff in the back, you know,
Sure.
crimes or something in the back, and that would just creep you out. Just the sounds of the night in a big city, or you would hear like a cat or something like that, just be like, you know,
Yeah.
and you thought it was La Llorona.
In the city, you felt that. I feel like it would. I feel like La Llorona would appear in a isolated area.
Well, it's like the thing is like in the city, it's like you hear it still gets really dark, you know.
Yeah.
Well, at least there in Mexico City when I was younger, but it's like there's so many other sounds that are going on. So when you're little, you hear all these like sounds, and like Mexico City, it's like it's still like a little bit more tropical too. So it's like in southern Mexico, you know. So it's not like it's complete like concrete and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
there's like a lot of birds. There's a lot of like stuff like that too. That's like a lot of stray animals. So you hear a lot of that, or dogs barking. You know, like and you're like, dude, what the heck is going on? Like, La Llorona. No,
aliens were more popular in Puerto Rico.
in Mexico too.
Aliens are very
yeah.
popular there.
Look, Dr. Jaime Maussan, he's the guy that supposedly found. Remember those alien bodies that they studied?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his show in Mexico. He still has it, but that would be one super cool thing. That is like he would be on TV and it would be an event. Like my aunt, like everybody would just like watch the alien stuff. You know, hi, we are un ovni. That's what they would say.
See, y'all believe in extra. What are they called?
Terrestrials.
Terrestrials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. What about walking under a ladder? I feel like that one's pretty.
I've done that a lot.
Uh,
Yeah, when I used to like paint walls.
my dad would
or
make me
helping-
hold the ladder.
Yeah, when I helped my dad. Yeah.
What are you trying to do, Dad?
Oh, get on the other side. I'm not gonna walk behind. I'm gonna walk under, which is probably not the safest thing to do. Not necessarily for luck, but
What does that one mean?
it's bad luck.
Just bad luck.
Oh, really? So, did you guys have the one with the umbrella? If you open it in inside of your house, that's bad luck.
I never believed that one. Yeah, I know it, but I never believed it.
I
didn't care.
believe that one for some weird
I don't
reason.
believe that one.
Because for me, it's like my aunt, she would get so mad if we were playing with the paraguas. Aquí no, Jose. No. Oh, scary.
I actually heard this one not too long ago from a student. It was if you get stung by a jellyfish, that the
You pee
human
on it, or-
and I thought that was real, but I guess it's not.
No, it's just a couple pervs that wanted to get off on people.
Oh.
A couple R. Kellys in the water.
Oh my lord! Yeah, okay. Moving on. This one too. So plucking a gray hair doesn't mean you'll get more. Yeah, I believed in that one.
Me too. Well, it's because my mom would make me pluck her hair sometimes.
Yeah.
Her grace. Quítame las canas. But then she'd be like, ay, pero me quité el señor ya como.
I did believe that shaving would make your hair grow back more, like thicker and faster.
But that
That's
is
not
true, isn't it? Doesn't it keep like opening your...
No, it's not true.
Wow.
Oh, see, I wish I would have known that before I shaved my daughter's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supposedly it was to grow thicker and curly, but that didn't happen.
No, it's, yeah. I believed in it too, but then I found out it's not true at all.
Yeah.
According to Google. What about... Oh, this one. I didn't hear about this one before, but supposedly dog's hair help you recover from hangovers.
So it's not actual dog's hair. I believe that's a phrase. The hair of the dog is just you drink more so that you stay drunk instead of being hungover. I could be wrong, but I think it's like they just say.
So what you do? You
they
eat
don't say
eat a
dog's
dog hair, or what you do? Make a little tea.
That's what she's been doing this whole time. That's why she's been coughing so much. But I believe it's hair of the dog just means you keep drinking. Here, let me look it up.
Yeah. No, when I read it, it just said that supposedly if you're near a dog's hair, that you can sober up faster.
Yeah. That's why I never vacuum, you know? I just roll on the carpet like a dog.
Oh, dude, be an adult. Actually, I lick my dog.
That's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, I never heard that one before.
Yeah, see, it's a colloquial expression in English that predominantly used to refer to alcohol that is being consumed as a hangover remedy. So it's just to get rid of your hangover, you just keep drinking.
Oh, so I took it too literal.
Yeah.
Got it.
It threw me because for a moment I'm like, have I always misunderstood that? Because I always understood just keep drinking.
I had never heard of
that. No. That's when people say, "Oh, a little bit of hair of the dog, and it'll fix you right up." It just means keep drinking.
Oh, keep drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did do that with sharp cheddar cheese. Did you guys do that?
Sharp cheddar cheese.
Yeah, that'll put some hair on your chest.
Oh. No, I've always loved sharp cheddar.
I don't want hair on my chest.
Extra sharp cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give you the black label.
Extra sharp cheddar cheese makes you grow a beard like me. Nah.
That's why the guy I used to work with when I was young, like we would do like landscaping and stuff like that. And I was like, probably I worked with him from almost like 10 to probably 14, probably actually 16 because I was still in high school. And after we like worked and stuff like that, he would always let me have like to take a break, like a Diet Pepsi. And he would just cut me like a little slice of cheese.
Was it homegrown cheese?
Huh? No, it was Tillamook.
Okay, that's still way good
black
cheese.
label, and then he would just give it to me. And he's like, it's got a bite, you know. He's like, but that'll put some hair on your chest so you can turn into a man. And he would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what you meant, not literally. I feel I'm.
Yeah, it's an expression. It means like you turn into a man. Like you're a man when you have hair on your chest.
But it's because the taste was so strong too, you know. It was just like, oh man, this is what men, you know. I was gonna say this is what men taste like.
You're like, not so bad. That's funny. But yeah, hey, Tillamook cheese is way good.
Yeah,
it's way good. Oh yeah, they sell it at Costco. Walmart has them, but in smaller quantities. They'll sell like the little bricks of cheese, like the single serve.
Yeah,
for value, I think that's garbage. Get the big block and just slice it off yourself. It's worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I make mac and cheese with extra sharp cheddar.
But you can get regular if you don't want hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Because that one might be true. Because I ended up getting hair on my chest. And stuff
I have
like
hair on my
got
chest.
A beard and stuff like that. You know, so
I did a lot of things that put hair on my chest.
Have y'all heard that we eat 8 spiders in a year while we sleep?
While you sleep, they crawl in your mouth. Yeah, that's a myth. I did believe that though a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe Fox Kids actually promoted that. I don't know if did you guys ever watch Fox Kids when you were kids?
It was kind of like they do like the almost after Zoom, wasn't it? That one.
After Zoom, yeah, on a different channel, but yes. And then they would have these on the commercial breaks they'd have a fact.
Like or theories or whatever, right?
Like the fact that a camel could drink 13 gallons of water per minute or something was like one of the facts. Like those small things that I remember.
And that has to be false, right?
Yeah,
that many gallons of water.
13 gallons per minute.
That's a lot.
I mean, think of the size of a camel, though. Like, do you think that would, if you think 13 gulps, like if each gulp was a gallon, because they're such big creatures, that does make sense.
I don't know.
But I don't know what the size of a camel is. They just look really big.
Yeah.
But either way, that was one of the facts. They said, like, oh, you eat 8 spiders while you sleep. And I thought about it. I'm like, how am I supposed to keep my mouth closed when I sleep? And then I found that was fake.
Fake news.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about the rabbit's foot? Did you guys have one too, or no?
Lucky rabbit's foot.
Oh no.
You guys didn't do that? Rabbit's foot?
I've heard of it, but I don't remember us having it at home.
Oh,
We had the eye of the deer.
the eye
like-
of the deer. What is that?
El, el ojo del venado.
Never heard of it, huh?
Really?
Have you heard of that? Ojo del venado?
I
What?
haven't.
Really?
No.
When infants are born, they wear a bracelet, and supposedly it's the eye of the deer, but it's not an eye of a deer.
Yeah,
but
you can
so
preserve that.
yeah, so kids don't get mal de ojo, so the bad eye.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay.
I would throw some protection if I had a kid. You know, things like just in case.
Yeah, you want to be safe with your kids.
But I really wouldn't. When I have a kid, I wouldn't let people come visit it like until he's like 1.
Yeah,
You know,
I wish
or like
that
one or 2. Like, dude, you can't see him. I'll send you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need you scaring him and a bunch of people touching. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, get away from him.
Speaking of rabbit's foot, because as a kid, I never realized that some of those were real rabbit's foot. I thought they were all fake.
Uh-huh.
So when I found out that they were actual real rabbit's feet, I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's for good luck. And I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's like, especially when you're a kid and you get a little rabbit's foot and you would pet it and you can make a little keychain.
Yeah, some people would wear it on its necklace.
Yeah. And it was just like so nice.
Would you all have a human leg foot?
No.
Like a chain?
I have one in my
like-
freezer. For good luck. I just don't let anybody
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Y'all don't think it's cute. Cute.
Even the guy's
Human
foot,
foot.
he doesn't know. He thought he lost it in an accident. But have you heard of the jackalope?
No.
I don't know if it's exclusive to Utah or maybe like these
That's one
mountainous
that's a
areas.
mixed breed or something? Or
Yeah, it's basically a jackrabbit that has antlers on
Oh,
it.
okay. Yep. I heard about that one. Yeah.
And I remember going camping with my friends and scouts, and we'd be on the lookout. That was always a fun one. We'd go
Yeah.
hiking and try and
Look
spot
for a
one.
jackalope.
Oh.
And I was always an honest kid, and I always knew when kids were like, "Oh, I spotted one." I was like, "Oh, shut up! No, you didn't." So
Because you wanted to be the person who spotted it.
I just knew that kid was a liar,
Oh, okay.
right? Because our whole group was pretty honest about stuff. And then because when we got old enough and we realized that it was all fake, we would talk about it.
Oh,
And then the kid that would always spot it didn't say anything.
Bigfoot?
I have.
I would say he does exist.
I go back and forth, but mostly I land on he exists.
People
Or
just
she. They.
Them.
So they'd have to reproduce. They'd have to reproduce.
they probably eat a lot of. Did you say sharp cheddar?
They probably do. Yeah, they eat the most of
Yeah,
them.
they're in Alaska just going crazy.
Tillamook is their company. But yeah, I like the idea of Bigfoot, and I believe it.
Yeah, you said Alaska. I thought it's not in
He said
Seattle?
Alaska, but it's in that area.
Oh, okay.
What is it? North.
I mean,
western
yeah, it's
region?
everywhere there. Like, yeah, and towards Canada in the border.
Northwestern regions.
Yeah.
Because Canadians, they would call it Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. And then people call it the Yeti or something, right?
That's the one in the snow. The Yeti, the abominable
abominable
snowman. I guess it would be the same breed or species or race, whatever you want to call it. They.
Any other ones that y'all can think, or ones that you all would create, either to tell your kids or future people?
Of what?
Like myths and
Myth. Like, what myth would you create?
Well, there was this one in Mexico where it was just like, maybe this is a scary one, where it's like, there was always a story of like, oh, if you are a taxi driver or whatever, you're in the city and like somebody asks you to, for a ride, and you put them in your car and then you take them to their house. And then by the time you're having a conversation, they're telling you about their life. And by the time you get to their house, you look back and the person is gone. And then you're like, dude, what the heck? Like, then you knock and then the persons they're like, oh, this guy passed away,
Mm.
20 years ago. My little Enrique,
I feel like I heard that one.
And they would say that was like one big one that was always like un muerto te visitó.
Dang, that's scary.
Trying to think of
There's one that's I like dreams or the idea of dreams, and I understand some of them are very random, but I also firmly believe that there are some that are symbolic or predicting something for you, trying to tell you something. One was recently, well, not recently, for me, years ago, I would be dreaming that some of my friends were pregnant. What does that mean? And I guess it just meant that you would adapt or start to create a similarity between like a trait or characteristic that person had. You would start adapting that trait, like something that's good and you admired it. You would view them as pregnant. I don't know what the correlation was. I forgot what they meant, what they symbolizes, but it says you're starting to adopt a characteristic that you value in them into your life. So like if they're disciplined, you're starting to be more disciplined. You have a dream about them being pregnant.
Is there dreams like that you because like one that I can think of is like sometimes I'll dream that my teeth fall off. And then you're like, oh, my teeth, they're just like all loose. And then you can feel like remember when you have your baby teeth and how you can wiggle it?
Yeah.
And it's like, it just feels so real in my dream. Like my gums are all loose and I'm just like spitting out my teeth. And then what's weird about that, then you look it up, it's like, oh, that means because you don't have confidence. I'm like, what? So is there any dreams like that you've had that you've looked at like or like for me sometimes I dreamed that especially when I was younger that I would dream like I show up to school and I forgot to wear pants and I'm like at the lunchroom like with my tray and everybody's like, Jose, where's your pants? And then I look down and I have no pants and I'm like, what's going on?
That happened to me before.
Yeah, you've had that dream before?
Yeah.
Oh, the dream, not real life.
Yeah, no. Come on. I'd be behind bars if that were the case.
Monkey bars.
Yeah, do you have like a recurring dream or no?
Or dreams like that?
I have had they have been like I'm always in outer space. There's like war happening and I'm looking for my siblings. Like I know it's not Earth. I know it's somewhere outside of Earth, but I'm always looking for them. I haven't looked up what that one is.
It could be just maybe there's conflict within your family and you are
Family feud.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you want to attach get on good terms with your siblings because maybe that's who you're fighting with. So in order to find the war is your guys' relationship. Not saying that's always what it is.
And you have to come back to
and
Earth.
you can't find them because maybe there's something you don't agree with on them or vice versa. So that's a block.
Yeah. See, I always thought it was that there's so many dangerous stuff happening that I just need to protect them, and I feel like I'm always like chasing after them to protect them. Yeah. And then I have had one with a white lion or a white tiger. I don't know which one it is, but I have
liger.
But do they exist? Yeah,
they used to.
They used to. Yeah. Okay, they have, and it's like a carnival, and it's chasing after me, and that's it.
Couldn't tell you that one.
You never had one that you peed your pants?
Not that I can remember.
I have. No? What does that mean?
I think that you just need to go pee. I think that's what it means.
I mean, I always wake up to go pee.
Like in your dreams, but when you were little, you get like in a deeper sleep, and then you just like you pee your pants. Because I remember one time I was like peeing in my dream, and then I woke up and I was like in the middle of almost peeing my pants. So I just ran straight to the bathroom.
Trying to think other ones, because I have had one where I cut my fingers, and I related it to the teeth one. I'm like, but my mom was next to me, and my mom usually is the one that says like, oh, engordaste, yo a tu edad, I was thinner than you at this age, and I had kids. So I feel like that was also like the image type of thing. Yeah, but it was weird. I was cutting my own fingers.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
There was one that I thought, because there was this time where it was in the snow and I dropped my sister off at middle school and I was on my way to go to school in high school. And this kid, I'm saying this story just so you don't think, oh, I almost hit a kid and brush it off this way. But I'm on this, it's 27th South or West technically. And I'm heading south. And this kid, I'm at least 2 football fields away, and there's a Land Rover also about maybe 200, 300 yards away. And the kid isn't crossing. The closer we got, then the kid decides to cross. and it's bad snowstorm. I start pumping the brakes because if you slam on it, you just slide right. And I'm hitting to try and slow down. I see the Land Rover doing this. This all happened in just a few seconds. And the kid saw that he crossed at the wrong time. And he just, he tensed up, he froze, and he was staring at both cars. I had just like, because it's a rear wheel drive car. So I just hit the e-brake and slid into basically a driveway. And so did the other guy. I don't know how. We just thought of it at the same time. And the kid just, he's shaking and just crosses and scared. And I was going to yell at the kid, but I'm like, I'm sure he got scared enough anyways. But the guy in the Land Rover rolls down his window. He was like, oh, learn to cross next time. He's yelling at the kid. And the guy just looks at me and just shakes his head. But anyways, from that point on, I was always scared of car accidents. Because I knew if I hit the kid, he's dead. There's no way he was going to live. Or vice versa. I could have seen the other guy hit him. And so I had this recurring dream several years after where it was I'd be driving and the brakes never worked and I'd be crashing into vehicles. It didn't matter if I was going in reverse. It didn't matter how much I tried swerving out of the way. I'd always hit something. But it was more of loss of lack of control in life as opposed to just being afraid. Because I thought, oh, it's because I'm afraid of car accidents. But it was more, you don't feel like you're in control of your life. So once I started figuring that stuff out, then those dreams kind of went away. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. So it took for you to figure out maybe what that dream was to kind of...
Yeah, and I had to chip away at it too because there was like a lot of things that I weren't going the way I thought they were supposed to. So once either I came to terms that I couldn't control it or I could control it, those dreams stopped happening. I haven't had those dreams in a while, thankfully.
Because it could be just like your subconscious, your dreams trying to like unlock that for you to see.
Yeah.
Because you'll hear some people, oh, I did this drug, and then I saw this. Maybe
I have a journal of dreams for that reason. Because I know some of them I'm like, yeah, that's just a random-ass dream that I had. Maybe I stayed up too late and my brain was just all over the place. But other dreams, I'm like, that's definitely trying to tell me something or it's a reflection of like my mood.
One that was weird because my grandma passed away last year. And literally, like, I felt really weird for like the week prior to it. And then I literally had a dream the night before she passed away. Like, I had a dream that it was like I was in Mexico in her house and I was in her room and there was just like one light and there was nothing in there. And I was like going to interview her like this, it was just like a microphone and a camera. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, are you ready to like have an interview? He's like, and I was like, what do you think of your life? She's like, oh, it's been great. And like literally the next day I got a message that she was like not responsive. Kind of weird, huh? So that was like kind of creepy. And like that whole month I felt like really like amped up, like
on edge.
Yeah, it was just like it was starting to bug me. Like I knew something it was gonna happen to somebody. It's like, oh, something's bad is gonna happen to someone. And I was just like stressed like that like all of December. So when they told me that, I almost had like relief, it was really weird. It's like I knew she was gonna pass away. She was sick for like about a week after that, and then gained back like consciousness and stuff like that. But then she passed away once she made it back to her house. So they thought she was gonna pass away at the hospital, but she made it back to her house for like a day, and then she just passed away in her house. So I like knew that was gonna happen too, just because from when I had the dream. So and that put me like I had a lot of peace. It was like really weird. Like I didn't feel. It was weird because almost I didn't even feel sad. Like obviously I felt bad because it's my grandma, but it was almost like, oh, maybe she like visited me, like knowing that she was going to like pass away.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So that was a weird dream, Shout out to my grandma.
Yeah, I think my mom had two with her mom in Mexico. So I remember that night she called back home, and they told her that her mom had passed away. Yeah, like she said she dreamt of her mom, and she called right away. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's always a lot of people that believe, and I actually do too, where when you dream, you access like a different dimension or a different wavelength, I guess, if you don't want to like view it as a dimension that you can talk to people telepathically or whatever through it. And honestly, based on a lot of stories that I hear from people like you, your mom's example.
Even Alice had one, remember?
Yes, Alice, several friends of mine. I've had experiences like that too, where I'm like, there's no way any of them would know that. Like, it's too much of a coincidence to be ignored, right? So that's why I think dreams are powerful, and that's why I keep track of my dreams.
I need to do that because sometimes, man, I love having dreams.
Yeah, and that was like one of my favorite Bible stories. Is like the Technicolor Dreamcoat, right? Because he was like the dream interpreter. Someone's, oh, what does this dream mean? When they've dreamed of the famine of the cows starving or whatever. So,
Is it maybe? Do you guys think that there's like before like Howard Hughes? He's like designed like a lot of airplanes and stuff like that, but he would dream a lot of his airplanes. So like a lot of like the airplanes now that are like popular is like he would just have dreams of them, and he would just wake up and he'd like build like a whole freaking airplane off his dream. But maybe do you guys think that maybe now we have so many things going on that we don't get good sleep, that maybe we don't
yep.
compared to before? Because I swear before, like there was like so many stories of like that, oh, this person like thought about it in their dream. Like it came to them in the dream, and now maybe we don't really sleep good, that it's like we don't get a chance to do that because we're not getting like REM sleep, we're just getting like very light sleep.
I think so too. I felt like I dreamed more when I was younger. Now I don't. I'm so
sleep
tired.
So good,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because you're not encumbered by the idea of all these different things. Whereas back in the day, if you were living off the land, you just knew, okay, agriculture, hunting. And even if it was tough, you only had to focus on 3 things, right?
Yeah.
But now you have to have like things like TV shows, texting, washing the dishes in the dishwasher. Like, your car breaks down. Just all these distractions that allow you to, I guess, forget what a human normally went through.
Yeah.
Because even Leonardo da Vinci, he like dreamed up a helicopter before it was even possible. He has like drawings of things that he imagined what a helicopter would be. And that's because they had a lot more time to just sit down and think.
Well, also probably because they're actually tired. Like for us, we don't do a lot of stuff like unless you're doing like manual labor.
Yeah.
And even then, you still have to like wake up and do something the next day. Like we have so much stuff that we're constantly doing that we have to keep going. Opposed to before, is like I probably feel like there was a little bit more downtime.
Yeah.
It's like you're not having to do that every single time. Or maybe you are, like he said, you're a farmer or something like that. But I would feel like maybe you're more spent. Maybe you have to go get water, go chop wood, like that. You're actually, I'm tired.
You spend all your physical energy,
Yeah.
so now you tap into the
That
mental.
You sleep good,
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, well, even the idea that we're so convenienced, there's no reason for our brains to think of a way to solve something, because the solution's almost already there.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to get creative. Even if you're hunting, you hunt the same thing.
There's a lot of comfort.
Yeah, they're always just like the animal might behave differently. Maybe there's less animals with different agriculture and all. Like paying attention to the star alignments, like how the Native Americans and all these other cultures would know if there were going to be good crops simply by looking at the stars and tracking all that. We're supposed to be a smarter generation. We couldn't. I look up in the sky, I can't tell you a damn thing other than, oh, it's daytime or it's nighttime, right? So it's kind of crazy to think that back then they had to focus on those things so much.
Yeah.
And I think that level of focus and lack of distractions of other things let them think differently.
Yeah, you're right. At least I feel you're right, because I think the same thing, right, with the Mayans and Aztecs, the calendar, and when to crop. Like there were certain, like according, right, to some books that they had to look at, like either the moon or something out up in the stars, and see when would be the good time to harvest.
And they knew it. Yeah, it wasn't like they weren't guessing; they knew. Even, I mean, if you think now, like modern day geniuses, they don't have social skills, and the only thing they do is the one thing they do, right? That's all they do. They'll lock themselves in a basement or in a room for weeks to months on end, and they're weirdos, right? But they're like so good at that one thing, and that's how they progress whatever form or craft that they're doing. Is they're so focused on it. Like think of musicians that just are so good at music, they don't really have another life outside of music. Like they don't know how to socialize, they don't know how to interact with people. They might be okay with it, but they're not out there making friends and partying. They just do the one thing only, and they do it so well that they're so good at it.
Also, do you guys feel like there's less geniuses?
Yes.
Because
really
before
do.
you're like, oh, you got Da Vinci, you got even.
But that's what I mean, like
Nostradamus, you got the Mayans, you got all these people,
all the Renaissance
everywhere
artists
around the world, exactly, that are
Yes.
inventing all these crazy things.
German engineering.
Yeah.
What they did in the 40s, like between even World War I and II, the Germans invented submarine torpedoes. That was unheard of. That's because they would lock themselves in rooms for months on end and design something until they got it. Whereas now it's almost oh, you're a creep, you're a weirdo, you have to interact with people, you have all these things that even from like a government level, not to get weird or conspiracy like thing, you have to pay your bills, you have to register your car. I know that's maybe once a year, but that's still something you have to go do, and if you don't do it, you're going to get locked away. But it's like, again, a lot less distractions. They just do the one thing. They were so expert at it. And yes, to answer your question, I think there's a lot less geniuses now than there used to be.
I think there's a gap right now of non-geniuses, but I think they're gonna be created. I think with this what's the new generation,
Alpha.
the alpha, like, you know, at least I seen memes and like, oh, that they are requesting more like workers right, like time off and stuff like that. Maybe those folks who are like
That would be Gen Z, because
Gen
Alpha's
Z?
too young still
Oh,
to work.
JK. So
yeah.
Gen Z, like maybe they're finding more time to do them, and then with having that self-awareness, they could be self-aware of like the other things happening. So maybe it's just, it'll take a while for new geniuses to come. Like I'm
yeah,
sure like
I'm
the
with you on
Mayans
that.
and Aztec, it probably took a while for them to discover the stars and what all that meant too
Yeah, of
with
course.
this new generation.
But that's all that they could look at, you know? That's why I
Right.
get
Yeah, but there's
creeped
a
out on
learning
space.
curve. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, but that's like the only thing you get to do at night.
Yeah, but that's like, so I think what she's trying, I don't want to
Kinda.
put words in your mouth, but so with Gen Z, which I do give them props for, is they're calling out like corporate bullshit on, oh, why are you requesting so much time for us to work and with little payoff?
Yeah.
Like I think Gen Z, people discredit them,
They
but
don't
they
see
do understand.
fulfillment. They don't
Yeah,
get
Gen Z does
fulfillment out of it.
understand, okay, look, I know you can't pay me $100,000 for maybe this job, but you could afford to pay me a little bit more, or at least ease up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool on their part. But if you're working 8 hours a day, then you have to cook and clean and do that. You have a lot less time to do certain things. Whereas for the past year, like I said, I've been able to focus 7 to 8 hours on painting, right? A
Yeah.
day if I wanted to. And that's, if after so many days or weeks or months or a year compounded, I'd be far more ahead than I would be if I only had 1 hour a day or even just 2 hours a weekend to do it. So it's like, if you lived in the old society, to your point, where you can only do the one thing and you're doing it every day, day in, day out, you're going to eventually get so good at it.
Yeah.
So what about in Europe, where they kind of, there's a lot more places that do that, where they respect more like free time than
Then
like,
here,
yeah.
they're the ones that still have like better craftsmanships. They take great pride on products. Like if the best leather shoes are Italian in Spain, and they have a lot of like leniency on working relationships with their companies. There's a lot of cool innovations, I guess, coming out for artisanal and arts and crafts and things. I think they're better at it for that reason. In the US you can, but it's like that starving artist idea. It goes back to like they have to look ridiculous or not part of society, and that's all they do. Like Jean-Michel Basquiat, he was like a heroin addict. He'd lock himself in his studio, and then he'd come up with these crazy ideas. But that's all he had to do. He had nothing else going on for him. Almost like athletes, you know?
Yeah, that's just
Like
like discipline the whole time.
Yeah, like that's
their
all they do.
purpose.
If it doesn't work out, then they're broke and they look like losers in a typical society, right? That's what you would call them. If they're broke, yeah, but they're like way good at that one thing. That's more than you could ever do.
Yeah.
Right.
So what would you pick maybe back in the day if you could be in a certain life? What would you be?
What
Like
would you
a-
specialize in?
Just like whatever you would want to be, like back in whatever year or whatever.
On the French revolutionized cuisine with their lax, like all modern cuisine, you can almost trace back to French, like the techniques and stuff. But anyways, that's the answer. Like they're good. What would you pick? And the French are lazy people. Okay, I'm kidding. They're not.
Before machismo existed.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's existed long before.
I know,
and
it's
even more so, actually, probably.
Oh no! Then I don't know. I don't know. Actually, that's
Except
hard.
for maybe
I'm
the
trying to
Mongolian
think.
Empire. They had female generals. You could live in
Yeah.
Mongolia.
Have
You'd
a
have to
couple
kill
of
a lot of people,
husbands,
yeah.
you know?
That doesn't sound bad. I'm just kidding. Trying to think of a.
You could be a little pilgrim. You could be a Mayan. You could be an Egyptian. Or maybe you can just be like in Iceland right now, right? One of those countries in the Swiss Alps. Living over there.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing a little bonnet or something, you know?
I would like to see the I think Aztec. Like I know there was a lot of like sacrificing
A
stuff
lot of
and
violence, yeah.
yeah, but I think I want to know the history of it, like the architecture stuff, the harvesting, and even I think when they were having like the taking care of infants, like how I think that some of that was different, and I think they had like their own. I'm trying to think about the book that I read about it. I thought it was so interesting of like it was like a community of women that would get together to help out each other because
Yeah.
it was tough, or it is very tough. And so like now giving birth, it's like you're only allowed like one or two person to go to the hospital with you for labor, and I think back then it was like a group of people.
Well, yeah, because if you
know?
died while giving birth, that
Mhm.
baby has to go to somebody.
Mhm.
So to not have one person burdened, they'd have multiple women take care of it so that it doesn't tax everybody.
Mhm.
Because they still had to gather food, cook, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you picked the Aztecs?
Yeah. I don't think it would be the best as maybe a woman, but I still want to learn.
I mean,
Good
just
stuff.
ideally, yeah. Let's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because they had a lot of cool stuff too, you
Mhm.
know.
What about you?
I don't think the Renaissance would be cool, you know. That would be pretty cool. And just, I mean, I think the whole thing with like even the like Marco Polo, you know what I mean? When you're going to China on a ship,
Yeah,
what is it called? The spice? What is that called? The that route that they would take.
I know what you're talking about. It's
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to
I was
close
gonna
my eyes
say
to imagine,
the
but I can't think of
spice, the spice
it.
trail,
Spice Trail.
you know. But yeah, like going to China, like just that would be crazy to go on a ship back in the day. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go get spices and stuff like that, and going on expeditions like that, I think would be really cool. And you come back and you're just like maybe starting to in a small way, you know, like oh colonialism, but you're just like literally starting to connect the whole world together.
Mm.
Right? So you can see like it's colonialism, but that's like when they're started making like I don't know, like trading systems. Like oh, we have this in our country, right? You have this in your country, and we're gonna go on expeditions and bring that back, and you get to discover like new animals. Like imagine seeing a new animal for the first time, and then they would be like, oh, you can have this donkey, take it, and then you take it. Like, dude, how cool is this, right? You get the first batch of horses or like certain things. Like, I think that would be really cooler. But so to me, I'm in between that, like being an explorer like that, or I would want to be in Egypt when they had that library or whatever of Alexandria. Like I would want to be maybe there, you know, because they had what did they have like basically from everywhere too, right? They collected all the information from all the other countries and stuff like that, and you could go learn basically anything right there.
I think
right?
Assyria had another one like that. I can't remember. It's in the Middle East. They had another library like that where it's just insane.
Like all the secrets basically up to humanity that existed up to that point, and then it got burned, you know. So it would be cool.
They say that's a myth. They say that it took like several decades for it to just. They never kept it up on it.
Oh really?
All of the they didn't know how to preserve the parchment, so it would just kind of
Get eroded, then you have to
deteriorate.
throw it in the fire.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
And it get raided, and I think that's where they had the burns where. But it wasn't like one night it burned all
everything
up at
burned?
once. Yeah, it was over the course of decades.
oh wow. Yeah, well, that would be pretty cool. That
Yeah, just to switch it up, I think like how modern art has evolved. So I'd say probably the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s into early 1900s, just to kind of see, because the amount of artists that have come out in that era alone is crazy. Like Renaissance, of course, is crazy, and you see a lot of those, but just
that's
late,
a cool. That's a cool.
late 1800s to early 1900s
Yeah.
had insane amount of artistic talent and like I don't want to say freedom, but it meant more to them because the Renaissance, those guys that they had ateliers, they were specifically that's what they did. That was their job since they're 12 or however early they started, and they were hired by political figures, religious figures that had insane amounts of money for them to do it, which is cool. It really is cool. But to see these poor people that had nothing going for them just create art, and at some point, whether during their life or after their death, now that art is like invaluable, is what I would want to observe. So that's kind of the era I think would be kind of cool. Shitty, obviously, based on today's standards of living,
Yeah.
but observing kind of the lifestyle in each, and all from different countries, whether it's Europe, Asian countries, or the U.S. or South America, Africa. Insane amounts of artists from that like 50, 60-year span. Crazy. So that's, I think, the art, the period I'd like to live in.
Okay, maybe one, because that, would you guys not want to be in the like in America when it was like the 1920s or like the 1950s, like that?
20s up to the, other than obviously World War II and one. But if you got to stay here, and
They're making McDonald's, they're making Coke, they're making the cool
the
big
Industrial
cars.
Revolution and all that shit,
Yeah,
crazy.
all of that is just like that, you know, like they're making all that stuff where it's like made in America, and everything was like so proud, and they're like becoming like,
Or
that's when
America's
everybody's like,
untouchable.
yeah, but that's when everybody's like all on the same page, you know, that it's like, oh, we all want to make America super cool, and everybody's just like excited about building something American. It's almost like to what he was saying with the Europeans, they have so much pride in just anything that they make, right? And they pay so much attention to detail, all these things. Like when we were doing all of that stuff, you know, it's like, oh, we want to have the nicest looking paint, the nicest looking this, like even to go, imagine how cool it would be to go to the first like McDonald's or whatever, when they would come out in rollerblades or whatever, or you see that for the first time, and
Or
it's
a
like
milkshake.
20 cents a milkshake.
Yeah.
And you get a jukebox. Imagine going, you see a jukebox for the first time.
Ice cream diners, they have these glass bowls, and
yeah.
you stack
Yes.
them up. You got the whipped cream, the cherry, the nuts,
And then you're listening to like an electric guitar for the first time.
and everybody had leather jackets. And now leather jackets are like $700. I can't buy one.
Yeah. They care about the
That
cows.
actually would be cool.
You're right. That like
That would be fun.
America in its prime would be nice.
Yeah, it would be so fun because it's like everybody would just go, hey, let's go out to the drive-ins, right? Like even the theaters, right? Let's go to drive-ins. Let's go to the movies. Let's go roller skating. Like what is it? The Sound of Music? Is it that one or the Grease? Is that?
It's Grease.
one
One
of
of
those-
You're thinking. The Sound of Music is World War II.
Grease.
era.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like that, you know. Everybody, it just looked like so cool. Like you're gonna go hang out with your friends, just a
Yeah.
couple of crews.
You'd
you know?
sit around a radio and listen to like a show. That'd be kind of cool.
You can drive across America. Like
You can
imagine
still do
back
that.
then. I know, but back
No,
then
I
when
know,
everything's
okay.
like completely open,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm just gonna get in my car and I'm gonna go to California. When California was like,
It was actually cool.
yeah,
I think the music. I think I would like that, like the introduction of music, like different type of music
you
coming
see
to the
everything
U.S.
evolve too.
Yeah, and how they were all kind of mixed instruments and stuff. I think that
Yeah.
would be fun. Or the dances too, like the dance moves. Like we were just talking about el tribal. I don't know if y'all heard tribal music.
That's the one with
I'm
the long
sure.
boots.
Yeah, the one with the long
Okay.
Oh,
boots.
then yes, I have.
It was pretty popular, but to me back in the day, I was like, "That's so funny. Why are people dancing circle?" But you know,
Yeah.
that was a big thing back then, and so I wonder, like the other music, like swing, or which is the one that I just saw.
Oh, swing! That was
Uh-huh.
imagine being in that the swing era. That would have been so fun.
Or the roller skating ones. I think, I think I would love to see that the different dance culture that has
Yeah.
come to the U.S.
You're talking about the twist?
The twist.
Yeah,
Even jazz.
tap dancing. I always wanted to be a tap dancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's complex.
give me a piece of wood. It sounds like my neighbor lives next to a freaking woodpecker. Pretty fun.
Yeah. Interesting.
Those are cool myths.
What could have been?
Okay. To finish up, one myth you would create.
Shoot.
Well, you've thought about this maybe more. Do you have one that you can inspire
No.
us with?
I'm trying to think of the ones I have told my daughters. If you sleep, you grow more.
That's
Faster.
factually correct.
I know, but it doesn't happen right away, right? It takes
no,
a
it's
while.
over the course of you growing up.
But I tell her, like, if you go to sleep now, you're gonna be taller. Then she
mean,
wakes up.
It's not a myth. It's scientifically correct.
She wakes up and she stands. She's like, "Look, mom, I grew." And
I
she
grew.
points her toes and goes up.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, look, I grew."
You know what? I forget the name. Is it called? What was the name of the deodorant with the guy running? Was it Speed Stick?
Oh,
But if you just cover yourself in speed stick, you'll run 10 miles an hour faster.
that would be your myth.
Yeah, that's my myth.
then
Like
they
if you
can
cover
get-
yourself, you glide through the air so much faster.
Now they're gonna get aluminum all over their body.
That's how they run faster. It's a good trade-off.
We had a guy. If he thought if you drank gasoline, you would be fast. And it didn't happen. He died.
Oh, he had a
Gasoline
fast
poisoning.
life.
El Mauro. Did I tell you a story about
Yeah.
Mauro? Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe I would try to make one where maybe if you. I really like space, so maybe I would try to make something where people look at space. Like maybe if you watch like too much TV or whatever, like space is gonna die faster or something like that, Or if you do too much electronic stuff, like maybe the sun's not gonna come up anymore or something like that.
Oh, like if you have like your phone out.
Yeah, or you're
TV.
watching too much of that or playing too many video games, maybe that the sun's not gonna come up.
Have you heard the one of the eclipse? If you during an eclipse you cut your hair, it grows stronger and longer.
Oh, really?
No.
I actually
No.
cut mine the day of the eclipse. So how long it grew.
I was just kidding. I made that one
No,
up
that's
right now.
that's a good one. Like I don't.
Well, that's the one you made.
Yeah, I
That's
just-
good.
That's pretty good. That is a good one.
But then you would have to wait like how long for an eclipse to happen, so your hair would already be long, no?
Yeah, my myth would be, you know what? I need to contribute a bit more. I don't like when people are always gossiping just to gossip, and this hurts the
Oh,
Latino
that's a good
community
one.
crazy. But they get sick every time they do it,
Oh.
like a bad cold. Like you're not gonna die, but you're gonna be miserable for several days on end.
That would be a
And then
good
they'll
one.
notice a pattern that every time they want to speak terrible nonsense about someone, they end up getting sick. That's gonna be my myth.
You know what would be
Okay, good one.
a good one kind of tying to that? Like if you maybe talked a lot of trash to people, if you said a lot of lies, that your tongue's going to keep growing.
Oh.
And then you're going to have a really big tongue that everybody's going to know that you're a liar
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And because
You're a
your tongue's
snake.
going to be hanging out. Yeah.
it's like kind
With
of
the
a
long
Pinocchio
tongue.
type thing. Yeah,
Like a Polynesian, huh?
dude, and that you would have to eat event. That would suck because you'd have to drink shakes because you couldn't chew your food. You can't close your mouth.
Yeah, you just have a long tongue. He's like, I'm telling the truth, Mom.
And then you're gonna get blisters and sunburn in the sun when the summertime.
Wow.
It's gonna freeze.
That would be a
and
good one to scare kids. You don't think
Get
Yeah.
so?
frostbite in the winter. Yeah, that'd be a really good one.
Te va a seguir creciendo la lengua. Si dices mentiras, te va a seguir creciendo la
Yeah.
lengua.
Have you seen those dogs that have the tongue out? Like they have like fuzzy hair on the top,
I think a lot of dogs have the
No, but,
tongue
like,
out.
but like they're here. Let me try to look for a picture.
You talking about a mastiff, maybe?
I
They kind
don't
of look
know
like
their
pit
word, but-
bulls, or
No. They're like small chihuahua looking.
oh, and they just like
Yeah.
that's like
Oh,
know which one I'm
they're
talking
like
about?
bald too,
Yeah.
but they have like little
Yeah.
spits of hair.
Yeah.
cholos. Those
Yeah.
ones.
I think they look like cholos. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What about it?
I don't know. I just thought they were funny looking.
Oh.
But that
Yeah.
reminded me like that's how you would
Okay.
look like if you.
Like a hyena kind.
I
of.
wanted to
how they are
add,
like-
more to
A
this.
hyena without humor.
Yeah. You're gonna turn into a hyena.
Well, thank you all both for sharing your myths.
Yeah, it was tough at first. 'Cause I had to think, but the more we kept talking, the more things.
The
came
more
back
you
to-
remember.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
coming back to me, Celine Dion.
Yeah. Anything else y'all want to add before we conclude today?
I don't know. This one was different. This
Very.
this
different,
episode
yeah.
made you think of a lot of weird things. It's like, oh, because then you think about a myth, and it's like, oh, it's hard to be a myth.
like a trip down memory lane, and then it
Uh,
made us think. I think, at least for me, creatively,
Yeah.
because it wasn't like it was a serious conversation, but not that deep, but not serious. I
Yeah.
guess if
Uh-huh.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
it's almost casual.
Which is nice. I think humans don't have these kind of conversations anymore. Did you catch the last game? Did you see the new season? Did you watch XYZ? Which is cool. I contribute to those conversations. But having a unique conversation like this, I think, is kind of missed upon the world.
Well, that's what's cool because like our parents, this is what they would do. They would just like go to their friend's house and they would just talk
Yeah.
about stuff like this, and you would hear it in the background, and then you're just like playing with your friends, like doing whatever, playing toys, and they could literally talk like until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, just pull right there, just sleep over. That is one cool thing that I think was cool about like our parents' generation is that Like they would go to their friends and they would be like, okay, well, just they're already all old, you know, like maybe in their 30s or 40s. They'd be like, oh, just sleep on the couch. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He can go to, you know, your friend's room. They'll sleep over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think now that's like that cool. Like that parents go like, and they're just gonna talk the whole night to be like, oh yeah, you know what, sleep, and then they still hang out the whole next day. You know, maybe
Yeah.
like you're already hanging out. It's like, oh well, now let's make breakfast and then let's go to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty cool. That I don't know, our parents kind of did that stuff. Like,
We got to be a part of it.
yeah, we didn't plan. I mean, they wouldn't even plan. It was like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out, and then they just like end up talking about so many cool things,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just like, oh well, let's go to the lake. You know, there was like also like that for how strict they could be. There was also like that little freedom that would be like, oh, so let's go do this.
It was impulsive.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember like, oh, now we got to go to Smith's or whatever to buy bread to make sandwiches.
Yes,
and
and they're gonna
chips.
get a chicken or fried chicken with
Yeah,
the little
yeah.
Hawaiian rolls,
That's good, man.
You
You're
know?
right. It's,
or a French bread.
it's
but-
crazy to think that was
And
just
you
a thing.
all you were thinking is just like, oh, I get to hang out with my friend longer.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, it's like they're also hanging out with their.
And now if it's not
friends.
planned to the detail,
Yeah,
people
you're
are
not
like,
gonna
I
do
don't
it.
want to do anything.
Or you're like, get out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, it's getting out. Like now it's like weird to be like, oh, I'm just going to crash on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like at a certain age, like I feel like, I don't know, that I'm 30, it's just like kind of weird. It doesn't, well, not weird. It's just, you don't even think that it's going to happen. That your friend's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to crash on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
But before, it's like our parents, it's like,
They had a whole family crashing over.
yeah,
Not just
Yeah.
one
your
person. the
whole living
family.
room. It literally was a living room.
Yeah. And a sleeping room.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. I think like and there was the myth stories where like we're always like talking about like people having animals on the side, like if something were to happen to the animal, it happens to you. And so and I remember like those stories and like they were spooky to me, but they were also interesting. Like how this one of my parents' friends said that like they felt like they had something in their ear and it was like flies, right? And so they went to go like a fortune teller or something like that, and they told them that, oh, your spirit animal is like trapped and they're dying, and that's why you have like flies in your ear because that's what's
Oh.
happening to them.
Crazy.
It's
I
Okay.
know.
rotting in there.
I was
Yeah.
like, whoa. So
That Hillary Rodham.
Maybe they were just playing with us, our parents, you know? It's like, oh, let's just. That's how they got good at telling stories,
oh,
you know?
yeah,
They were just like talking like us, like, okay, I'm gonna try to tell a story about this. Let's see who has the
But to
best
your
story.
point, like what do they have? They didn't have phones to play games on. Of course, they had to find some entertainment.
You know, I think maybe that's one tradition. If I have kids, that would be fun to do. You know, it's like go to do that. You know, to have like that adult time. But also, it's like you said, they're not having phones. They're not doing anything. You can just literally hear them talk, or they watch a little bit of TV. But for the most part, they're just having like a conversation.
And those are fun friendships too. Like even if you guys didn't continue your friendship as you get older and grow apart, whenever you met back up with them, you'd have those cool memories.
Yeah,
to,
cool
to share.
stories.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I remember when you did this, or you would always have somebody fart. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
sure.
dude,
Or
that's
someone-
so bad.
Or someone like clumsy, so they always ruin something.
Oh, yes.
They break something. You're like, oh, I gotta tell my mom,
Yeah.
dude. You know, but that would be a cool tradition to do.
To
you know?
uphold. That would be fun.
Yeah.
If you're a kid to see like your parents sleep over at their friend's house,
Mm-hmm.
that would be kind of cool. Like, I remember how excited you would get. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm gonna be there.
Well, plus it's kind of cool because as a kid you had some relationship with another adult, whereas now I get it.
Oh,
You want
that's
to
a good
protect the
point.
kid,
Mm-hmm.
so the adults don't want to interact. I understand why. You don't want to be a creep. You don't want to be labeled. You don't
Yeah.
want any possibility of someone coming back and having false accusations.
Yeah.
But I still talk to my, not like openly, but if I see them, I have zero issue having a conversation with them at the store, and I'll talk about a memory of that. Like now I'm 30 and they're 60, maybe they're 70, and it was cool. Like they remembered me as a kid, and they tell me, "Oh, I remember you would do this as a kid, and this was your personality, and now you're like this, or you kept your personality," type of thing. So
And sometimes what's cool about that, it's like, and I didn't even think about that, like being around other adults. It's like sometimes they have different traits that your parents don't have. You know, so it's like my dad, he was always super serious, but one of our friends, Pedro, Mr. Gomez, he would be like, he didn't give a fuck, you know, so he would just be like, oh yeah, go to the gas station, here's $5. or like eat all the candy you want right now, you know. So even that was just like holy crap. And then like, you know, my dad, he's like at his house, so it's like he has to abide by his rules. So it's like you still have to do that respect. And I could tell my dad was like, God, you piece of shit, you're gonna get away with doing, you know, you're gonna get away with doing it. Yeah, because you know, like at my house, like I couldn't do that, you know, but at his house is like, yeah, he has different like rules and stuff like that, different things he'll let you do, but now you got to follow those rules. And sometimes it was just like, oh, I get to do that at this place, you know.
That's still so interesting, because even now I feel like I'm careful like with other kids, because I have to be like, I'm not sure if your parents gonna allow you. And there's been a couple of times where like, and they're like family friends, I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead, paint your face, like, because all the other kids are doing it, and then their parents get upset like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, oh, sorry, you got in trouble. But I feel like I always have to be like walking on eggshells.
See, but back then, that's my point, is that you would be at their house while that happens.
So it's their rules because it's their house.
But that was my house.
And they were over, the parents were there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
You know, right? See, that's why I feel like even though I'm in my home, it's my rules, it's still like iffy. And it's not just that particular family, but there's like others too. I feel like I have to be careful. I have to double check. Like, you could have juice.
But I think, you know, because those things, like, for the parents, it might ignore them, but it means more for the kid.
Yeah.
You know, because the kid never gets a chance to do that. So I think with a lot of things like that, it almost gives the kid hope. You know, it's like, oh, you can do it. Nothing happened to me. It's bad. That was just a myth. I might not be able to do it at my place, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. So you also get to see, like, a different perspective other than what your parents are telling you. In a way, you know,
and then get spanked when you get home.
Yeah, but it was worth it, you know.
Yeah. Then you just understand it's like the boundary they have.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Like subconsciously, it's like
Dang. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking like, oh yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna beat her up. I'm gonna start another party. I'm gonna paint her face. She was just scared of clowns.
Okay, well, thank you both for talking about today. I know we went a little bit off topic, but I thought it still connects with everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was fun.
This is all a dream and a myth.
Yeah.
You know?
What does this dream mean?
What
check us out next time.
To be or not to be? Find out. You're not gonna say your name or anything? We're just gonna check out.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you for joining.